How you doing? How you feeling?
Oh,
What's
bro,
happening?
thank God. I can't complain. Um, my life has been full of amazing, adventures, journeys, my work ventures, everything that I'm actually, centralized and I'm focused on, and everything that I'm putting out there is actually gaining recognition,
That's good.
is making steps of progress, which is very, very crucial,
Okay.
very key.
Tell the people what you do. So tell the people who you are.
So,
Introduce yourself properly.
yes, let me get
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
let
yeah,
me get
yeah.
that out there. Let
Yeah,
me get
yeah,
that
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. So, my name is Emmanuel Akin, people. I'm a political leader for young people. I'm an advocate for young people. Literally, my role is just being, because I got different titles out there, so I don't want to kind of say the whole list, but my role is just a change maker, a game changer for the lives of my present generation, the younger generation, and mainly, really and truly, I'm just out here to kind of create a statement, make a statement in my current generation, and transforming my life and my experiences, aligning with younger people that have been in similar experiences, similar cultures, similar circumstances, and
Okay.
building that great alliance and changing the world, hopefully.
So can you just explain what you mean by like a political leader? What does that mean for young people as well?
I am centrically, I'm a young politician.
Okay.
And the role that I've taken on was becoming a political representative for young people in Hackney, East London. So that's my constituency. That's my area that I operate with. Hackney, East London, and that is my community. That's where I live. That's where I've been living. That's where I've been, basically grew up in Hackney all my life, and that's my home. So, that's the whole reason why I've kind of taken that decision. I've made that decision to take that step forward and, be the representative for young people in my constituency, they'll call it, but in my area, in my community, which is Hackney, East London. So I deal with matters and affairs that relate with young people or that are in combination with young people, in conjunction with young people. I deal with those matters and affairs directly, making sure that young people are filled in with what's going on in terms of parliament wise and up and that, authority category. And I'm basically the link, the bridge between the authority and the young people. That's my role. So
Cool.
that's basically it.
Cool.
Man, yeah.
I think you're being a bit modest as well. We were having a quick conversation and like you got like around 2,000 votes.
Yeah, so yeah,
election?
that's my journey, man.
Yeah.
So
When was that?
So when I first got into youth politics, right? Well, okay, let's
start.
Let's get
all right, quickly. Let's just say, because you do some other things as well. So just quickly say the other things you do as well.
All right, yeah. So I do the
work,
other. So the other
clothes.
things that I do is I'm a public speaker. I transform minds. My motto when I was very young, when I was new into the game, fresh into the game, was contribution is the key. You got to contribute to win your destiny, to achieve your destiny. That was my motto back then. That's what kind of got me in the game. That's what kind of got me exposed. And through that, I started to actually proclaim myself and publicize myself as a speaker, and I gained that recognition swiftly because I remember my first speech that I gave in Wembley Stadium back in 2013 in front of 500 young people. It was crazy. It was nuts. Till this day, I still hold it down. And I remember after I gave that speech, and people came up to me and they were like, yo, can I get your contact details? Like, wow, I want you to speak at my event. I want you to speak at my school. I want you to speak at this, that, the other. And I left that event and I was thinking, yo, I can remember this,
This is a little thing, right?
So this is a little thing, and I can make a bit of cash as well. But that wasn't the focus then. But I knew that I'll reap the benefits of it. Do you know what I mean?
And also that you've got a talent as well.
Yeah, of course.
But
I've got
like you also
talents.
got your suited and booted.
So yeah, I got my suit. I was coming to that. I got my suit line. So I'm a very, 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 very. I can't stress how intense I am in the fashion line. I really love fashion. That is my desire. That's my passion. I've always kind of had that view on looking different. Different is my middle name.
Yeah.
But the whole reason and the whole purpose and the vision behind the fact that I run this fashion line. So it's a suit line, corporate suit line, and streetwear as well. It's called Kinsgmanclass. Search that up on Instagram, Twitter. I'm there. Kinsgmanclass. Haven't launched it yet. It's still under construction, still under critique, branding. But it's called Kinsgmanclass, and the vision behind that was difference, and literally how to apply difference, not in only how you look, but how you approach how you approach what your approach is in the outside world. So it's not all about looking different, it's about allowing what you wear to actually have that effect on you. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people can wear a suit and they don't feel any difference. You could wear a suit, go into the city and feel like, do you know what I mean? But my thing is wearing a suit and allowing your new look and that different look to actually make you feel acceptable. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of has an influence on your character. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
like, I think, I don't know, people's first times wearing suits is probably in different occasions and stuff.
Of course,
but
yeah.
mine was probably like going to church and stuff, and
you
just immediately feel a bit different. So
100.
I could totally respect that. Cool. So just going back to the politics side of things, like I know you wanted to. Like we spoke a bit before, and
trust me,
we spoke a lot before.
Crazy, isn't it?
And what I was really interested in, and something that you said, is that you're kind of really interested, and what you do is you expose politics for the benefit of young people. Yeah. So with that statement there, let's go back to that conversation. Yeah, let's do that. But let's go to the beginning of your kind of political journey and how you got to that stage.
Okay.
Let's break it down.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down from the top. So what happened? You know, I was a statistic. Let me start like that, because that's how the system would view me as. Right? I was a statistic who, at first, I didn't really know what the system meant. I'm going to be very, very honest. I didn't know what the system meant. I knew that it was always out there. It was recognizable, or something that was apparent. You always heard it around. I was seeing it on the news, but I didn't really know what it meant. I didn't really know what part it had to play in my society. So I said to myself, all right, cool. You know, I always had this in the back of my head. I was like, okay, cool. You know, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what it is, whatever. And I'm talking back in when I was like very young. I was like year 7. I was like 11 years old. So alongside that, I was very naughty in school. So it was crazy. Do you know what I mean? My mum would get calls every other day. The tensions were racking up. You know, and I went to
envision you being this. I mean, I guess everybody has their naughty periods,
you know, everyone has a journey, everyone has a story. But like, even like from the fact that I'm very young. I'm only 21 years of age. I don't know. I want to put that out there.
They can find that, bro. You're in the voice.
You know what I mean? I'm 21 years of age. I went to a school called City Academy, Hackney, which is a new school. It opened in 2009. I was the first year group to enter the school, so it was good. You know, life as a child was upside down. It was good. It was all right. You know, I was exposed to the gang life and my community, and you know, I was exposed to that life. I wasn't deeply into it, but I was exposed to it.
That's just a part of where you're from.
And that's just a part of where I'm from, do you know what I mean? And my mum was always, you know, common African parents, very on edge about, you know, the time I need to get home, this, that, the other, who I'm with, what friends I'm going to keep around the house, what friends am I going to engage with. So she was just typical African-centric mother. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Where are you from?
Nigeria.
Okay, cool. So they were really hard on you, boy.
I got it like pepper soup, man.
Mercy's Nigerian, so she knows what about it. Yeah.
I got it.
Well, I know
my friends. I was living in a prison, bro. A transparent prison.
Yeah.
Okay. I was living in a transparent prison, bro. But the benefits of that shows, and it shows today. Do you know what I mean? Because she emboldened, and I love you, mum. Do you know, I know you're going to see this. Shouts to my mum. Do you know what I mean? Elizabeth Montserrat Ajala. I love you so much.
Get the full name.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I feel like mothers need to get the credit, man.
Oh, yeah,
my mum.
sure, man.
Love you so much. You're my ride or die. You're my queen. You know, I'm my first and only.
Do you know what?
Queen.
I was actually, just quickly, I was like, I'm gonna do a podcast with my mum. I'm gonna do it because there's so many stories and stuff that I feel like we need to just embrace from our.
I'm telling you, mummy.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I love you, man.
Anyway,
because without you and your involvement and what you've contributed to my life, I will not be where I am today. And that's facts. That's on period. Poop. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, mum, I love you so much, and I love her, and everybody that's watching this, love your mum, and understand that it may not make sense now, but trust me, when you're a lot older, it's going to make sense. It's going to start. Yeah. And I feel like that's the uniqueness of mothers on this earth. because what they do doesn't really make sense at that given time, but it really shows
to the young person, to the mind of a young person.
Yeah, because when you grow up, it's like you live two different lives. You live your life as a young teenager, a young kid, and then you grow up, and then you're a lot older, and then you
can look back at things in hindsight, like, okay, she did that for a reason, or because was that done for a reason, or
because even today I look at myself and I'm like, raw, like this is why my mum made me do all of that, because now is those sort of disciplinary barriers, or I'll call them frameworks, it plays out in who I am today. And that's why I'm so disciplined. That's why I'm so organized. That's why I'm like this, I'm like that. And I get some sleep, and I make sure that I do certain things the right way, because that's how my mum, and that it was all those disciplinary strategics and tools that she was using to embolden me to who I am today. So mum, shout out to you, man. I love you so much. And this success is here already, and you're gonna reap every single bit of it. Do you know what I mean? So definitely.
So where did you where did that how do you want to expose politics to young people? Because we were having that conversation about it may be easy for someone like yourself that maybe has that kind of strong cultural upbringing, has that kind of respect for not integrating, but kind of playing the game and playing the system, right? But for the people that don't necessarily have that kind of in them, or have that kind of respect for, or that kind of understanding of how to play the game, and maybe what I'm talking about, I guess, is just not caring about politics very much, not wanting to talk about it very much. So how do you fit in there?
Yeah, so basically what it was is I went on this road. So back into my story, I went on this road where I said to myself, all right, cool. I'm exposed to this community, and I'm exposed to this society, and I know what the world view and the system, I know how, I had a glimpse, I had an idea of what the view was like on young people, and I just didn't like it. I didn't, I wasn't comfortable with it.
What was the view on young people?
It was just that, we were just deemed as just robots that just couldn't maintain or achieve any sort of success. And I'm talking about young, and it stemmed from young black people.
Yeah.
Young boys such as myself, black. We weren't viewed as valuable. We weren't viewed as, people that have a vision.
We were criminalized.
It was kind of in broader aspects criminalized. But I'm talking about back in when you're in school, you don't feel cherished. Do you know what I mean? You just feel like dust. You feel like dirt. Do you know what I mean? We were treated like dirt primarily, and it was very smart how at that time the curriculum and the school system, the schooling system, it was very different how they did it. But not until you're actually in school, you won't really understand unless you're wearing that blazer and you're in school. You have to walk on the left-hand side all the time. And because you're black, you'll feel like certain teachers they won't have your back. They'll have other people's opinions over you. So it was many different things integrated into one, and it kind of had that overall feeling on you as a black student in school. But let's put that to the side. So after that,
but just to touch on that quickly, because I think you also for maybe the kids that do probably a bit better in school, and they probably are treated a bit differently than maybe their counterparts that are not doing so well.
Yeah.
Just to touch on what that does, I think that creates some sort of distinction within young black men or young black people to kind of see your own counterparts as your own brothers and your own sisters as kind of less, and that you're more, or that you're there's certain kind of things that play out in schools that kind of inform some of the detentions and some of the kind of the weird kind of because you know what I'm talking about, because we've done racial identity training and stuff like that, and that and you really kind of notice that if you
of course, man.
Where different people are. So for example, some black people, the notion that, for example, that you're better, or that you you're not hood, or you're not black, or you're not you wouldn't associate yourself with somebody that's that has done less. Or that has not even done less, but you know what I'm trying to say. That just kind of,
I get you, man.
And I think school kind of it breeds that within our young people.
Most definitely,
particularly within our young black people. I just wanted to pick up on that.
No,
really
of course, it definitely. School has a massive part to play in that whole cycle. I was going to say it's a cycle because it's like young people go through this cycle where they feel mistreated. They have a glimpse, an idea of what the system would stigmatize them as, what the authorities will stigmatize them as, what the view of their community would hold them as. And they have an idea of the fact that they are not presentably shown in a positive light. They're not shown in a positive light at all times. So, and then you go through that in your outside life, and then you go into school and it's like the same feeling, but just shown in a different manner. And it now brings the awareness of the fact that the schooling system and the curriculum is not really appropriate. Well, I wouldn't say appropriate, but it's not effective. It's not efficient. It does not match in, or it does not lie into the means of a young person growing up.
Yeah, it's not designed for
it's not designed. It's not designed towards the needs, because when you're studying under a curriculum,
sensitivities, I should say, just
because
these are the awareness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cultural awareness. All of these things kind of tie into a young person, and these are the things that if the school doesn't teach them, they are exposed to it in the outside world.
Yeah.
But for the fact that how the school operates today, it does not. Firstly, does not acknowledge it. Second of all, right. So firstly, it doesn't acknowledge it, and second of all, it doesn't spring up or bring the benefits of that and embed that into the schooling system and into their curriculum, and that's why the curriculum is not really appropriate with a lot of young people, a lot of young students, and that's why you have it's primarily black young kids. Let's put the down.
Of course.
Let's put it out there. It's primarily black young kids. And why is it that it's the black young kid that has to be out of the class, in the detention room, in the reflection room, or in isolation room in schools?
Because that's how you deal with.
Why? Yeah. And why is it that black young kids are the ones who are racking up the most attention? Let's be real, because it's out there. Why is it young kids that are excluded, suspension? Like, it is crazy. But you look at, and I was saying this in a meeting a couple of weeks ago. I said, you look at the teachers that are actually employed to teach these curriculums or to engage as a teaching role in these schools. And I said, if it was up to me, every teacher would be put in a vetting process, not really where, we don't search or anything, but a vetting process where we actually verify your experience or your working partnerships with young people.
Yeah.
Because I believe every single person or every single individual or employee who is a teacher or has that role title, a teacher, has to have that sort of experience or that responsibility with working with young people. It has to be in your past records. Like, we want to know, because behind the title of teacher, who are you actually? Let's be real. Do you know what I mean? Who are you actually? And that's why...
Are you someone that cares about young people, working with young people, educating?
If I was running a school, do you know who will be employed? A bunch of youth workers, not teachers, not people that have degrees and come out and don't know, I mean, I don't want to swear.
No, you can swear.
But don't know shit. I don't want a bunch of teachers that a bunch of individuals that have a degree, don't know shit about young people and come and work. No. Because I'm not going to put my young people as a school governor or school principal or sit on the board of directors. I ain't going to put these young people at risk of actually receiving essential help in an institution. I won't put them under that risk with a bunch of people who actually don't know how to engage with young people, or who haven't had that training, or who haven't had that experience. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I'll chuck a whole bunch of youth.
But then that's why my point of view on that is that,
and that's just a personal view.
No, for sure,
of course. Do you know what I mean?
And quickly, actually, just to give a bit of context to how we both know each other, we go to a lot of community meetings in Hackney, and that's how we know each other, and that's how we connected and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But just to give my quick opinion on that, I really do think maybe we should look towards supplementary schools, because if our kids and our children are not receiving that connection,
of course,
in education as it is right now, it may be due to Eurocentric ways of teaching and educating our kids, and maybe if they're not kind of achieving very well, it's not just because they're dumb or they're like a bad kid. It's they're not being taught in the right ways. There needs to be alternative ways of teaching our kids.
It's the delivery. The delivery is definitely is.
I use this example of life. Example, if you hate, like a lot of, this is a thing for a lot of kids. If you hate reading out loud, or if you hate English or anything like that, and you find it boring, and it's usually to do with the content. So if you had, again, within these supplementary schools, if we're talking about black supplementary schools, if you had literature that was kind of tailored to you and your culture and your kind of your history, maybe that would kind of help.
It'll help in a way.
But then help also the relationship with that child in the education system.
Exactly.
When they go back to school, are they now, like, you see what I'm trying to say?
Of course, it definitely plays a part.
It
plays a part, definitely, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like
of course, because supplement, these ideas, like I said, look, these ideas are very, very important. They're very essential because we live in a progressive society and we are in a phase and we are under a fold where we need to try things out.
Yeah.
Because if we don't try things out and we don't see if we don't see the variety of options that could possibly help the community and the system that we live under, then we are just going to consistently continue living in a cycle. And for the past decade, 2-3 decades, the world has been moving in a cycle. Britain has been moving in a cycle. It's been a cycle, and we can't contaminate the futures of this nation, and we can't contaminate them by allowing them to spring forth under the cycle. We can't contaminate, because it's like we're poisoning the young minds.
That's what we're trying to do.
The young minds have been poisoned. Primarily, you're poisoning the young minds because these young prosperous individuals are going to be full of ideas. They're going to be full of prosperity. They're going to be full of creativity. They want to put their ideas out there, but because of the derailing, long-lasting cycle that we've been under, that will essentially poison the young minds. And I'm just putting, I could go deep and really criticize stuff, but that's essentially what I'm talking about. And I broke out of that system. And I made that decision to break out of that system. And that's the whole reason why my story can connect with a lot of young future leaders out there. Because with the decision that I took out to break out of that system of, I won't let the school determine who I am. Yeah, I was a bad kid. Yeah, I didn't get the best grades, but that's not going to determine my future. It's not going to determine my destiny. It's not going to determine my influence in the world. I ain't going to be that person. So I made that decision to step out of that.
Where do you think that decision came from?
That just came from the fact that I was confident. I had a big rock that was living with me, and that was my mum. And she just didn't let anyone just spit on my name, or she brought me under this umbrella where I need to know my worth. Regardless of the fact that I was a naughty child or I was stubborn, I was this, I had my bad traits, but I knew my worth. She, even through all of that rough patch, I knew my worth. You get what I'm trying to say? So it was through knowing my worth and that self-encouragement that I picked myself up and I said, well, I'm going to do this with my life. I'm going to be a brighter light. I'm going to do this here, there. And that's when I said, all right, then cool. I sat down. I remember this day, I sat down and I said, all right, how am I really going to pick this up and really bring influence, not only to my peers, but to my community? And I said, okay, I looked at it. What is the mainstream lines, mainstream tools of power? Politics, that's a mainstream tool of power. So I said, all right, then fine, cool. So I did a bit of investigation, did a bit of research, tapped into a few networks that I had in my youth club, and I said, look, I want to go into politics. I'm confident, I'm bold, I can speak, people listen when they hear me talk. Do you know what I mean? And I said, all right, then cool, let me go into politics. And, at that time, the process was obviously getting into youth parliament, getting into youth politics, and then making the stage from there. So
were you in the Hackney youth parliament?
So yeah, okay. I made this decision that I made was in the process of the fact that I was getting into the public speaking as well. So this was like late 2012 when I was very young. I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 13. I was very young, I was a baby, man. I was a kid, 13, making this big time decisions, at 13, even though I was still riding on with my education, I was good. And what's so funny, right? There was many times, but a few times, right? I was very bad in school. Not very bad, not like I was a tornado, but I was bad in school, right? And what's so funny? And this is what a lot of young kids can relate to. I was so different because they had to keep me on because I was smart. I was bad, but bro, I was smart. Do you know what I mean? I was a normal young bad kid, but I was smart. I even remember the school tried to transfer me to another school. But they didn't have any viable reason to do that. Because it was not like I was failing in my books. I wasn't, because that would have been a good enough reason to kick me out. But they didn't have anything to prove. So the only thing they had against me was the fact that I was disruptive. I was getting demerits. I was getting detentions. But I was book wise smart. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I was really smart. So, anyway, put that to one side. So I made this decision. Tapped into some contacts back at when I was young in youth clubs and stuff. And I hooked up with one or two people, and they said, "Well,
there's a lot of just quickly sensing like there's a lot of initiative here, and I really want to commend you for that as well, because
man.
But like I really want to say, like, I think also what you've touched on just quickly is that how vital the parents are in instilling this sense of confidence in the kids.
I was good
because
again.
that initiative right there, it seems like something that's been in you, even in the initiative to be bad in school, but also have your. Like no one can tell you not, and like
no one can,
because your grades are good as well. But even then, the initiative to go through your networks and start to make these connections.
Of course,
I just want to like really highlight that.
Nah, man, it's not even me that I should be commended. It's my mother as God, for giving me that individual that would, even though I have a bad day at home, I have the shittest day at school. I'll go home, and that day will just turn upside down, and it'll be a good day just because of what my mama sat me down, what she said in the space of 5-10 minutes. Or how I have a shit day at school.
That's usually the flip side for a lot of people. Like,
do you know what I mean?
They have a good day at school and then come home and it's not that story.
Do you know what I mean? I'll have a shit day at school and I'll come home and my mum will pick me back up. You know what I mean? Know your worth. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to look nice today. It's not going to look all pleasant and beautiful today, but look up to the future.
Yeah. But you were saying you were connecting those
I was connecting those dots when I was young. I was really out there, looking back at my life, I was very bold and confident because there's not a lot of kids doing that now, But
which is why
I'm kind of filling this gap and getting my story out there so a lot of kids can connect to me. And I am very, 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 very connectable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Young people can connect to me. And I've been doing that. That's how my life has been. But I was connecting these dots when I was young. And, they said to me, well, if you want to make this process, you want to make this, this direction, as youth parliament, youth politics, kind of have a little fun in that playing field, even though like already I was actively in that role before I got assigned to the role. So I was playing a young activist in the community, basically as a youth parliament member, MYP they call it, member of youth parliament, but I wasn't actually officially assigned. So I was making a lot of noise, and when I'm talking about 13, and I was making so much noise to the fact that the mayor's office were they were hearing me. They were hearing my name.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about, where I'm going into the state where things that have not been achieved by a young person in Hackney are starting to be broken. And I was starting to set records. Like councillors were hearing my name. They wanted to talk to me at my youth club. They wanted to come to me. I had councillors coming into the youth club.
And what ages is this?
And this was like 14. I was touching late 13, 14. And councillors wanted to, my auntie's one of a councillors, Sade Eti, shout out to her. She's a councillor for Hackney. And councillors were coming into my youth club to kind of chat to, and it was informal. Everything was informal. It's not that they wanted to set up a room and interview me, but it was just informal. They just wanted to chat to me.
Yeah, just see who this kid is.
Just to see who this kid is, do you know what I mean? Because I was doing a lot. I was going to schools.
What things were you saying? Like, what, like to cause this noise? Was it just you being this fresh, kind of perspective of a young black man? Like this kind of change of narrative, I guess.
Do you know what it was?
In these spaces that you don't usually see young black men.
I had all of this up in my character. All of this was in my tank, right? And I was doing it informally, going to school, speaking to young kids, saying, yo. And what's so funny was they'll come to me and be like, how old are you? I'll be like, well, I'm 14, 15, bro. What? I was talking to people 18
I'm still amazed by your age today, bro.
I was talking to 18-year-olds when I was 14 and they thought that I was 18, 19, 20. It was crazy. Like, on God, that was the response I was receiving.
So you've always been a kind of more mature.
Yeah, it was like that. But I give 50% to how I looked, basically. Because obviously I looked a bit, you know what I mean? But the wisdom through God that was coming out my mouth, it was crazy at that time. And, counsellors wanted to come and talk to me. They just wanted to find out. But in response to your question, I hats off to mid to large scale small to mid to large scale organizations who are out there, who are actually platforming young people. There's a platform that I want to mention that did a lot for me. They they got me out there, and it was through football. And that's London Football Journeys. You know, big shout out to the director, Alex Bain, who London Football Journeys. So London Football Journeys is a charity organisation who help young people and engage them through sports. Basically, is a platform, in a nutshell, is a platform that engages young people positively. You know, if I should give them a title, that's what it is. That's their mission statement. We travel from community to community across London, nationally as well, because they've done some work outside London. We travel from community to community, citywide, nationally, to engage young people positively, to allow that engagement to happen, to be apparent. Because at the time, and it's still present now, we know that if the media should, you know, source up something, it's always going to be negative. We wanted young people to be noticed through positive engagement, not always negative, not always antisocial behavior, not always gang or drugs or violence, positive engagement. So I remember when I first met this guy in 2012, and he met me at my youth club, and he was like, yo, I need you. Can you become an ambassador? And I was on the first day. I didn't do no trial. I didn't go to any meeting.
You just recognized the talent.
Do you know what I mean? And he just came to me and he was like, yo, like... he does this thing when he's so shocked, he blinks like 1,000 times. He was like, yo, like...
visibly shocked.
He was blinking. All I remember from that guy, he was blinking bears. He was blinking a lot, you know? And he was like, yo, I need you. Can you become an ambassador? Can you headline? Can you forefront a lot of these projects I want to put out there? And I said, yeah, man, I'm down. And I was young. I was like, yeah, man, of course. You know, so...
you getting paid for this?
No, I wasn't. Big shout out to him, though, because it was through him I had my first grand speaking opportunity when I spoke at Wembley in front of like hundreds of young people. I spoke at Wembley, and it was sick because
What was that?
So the speech was on, because he knew what I was and he knew what I did, he kind of gave me that leeway to kind of insert a lot of empowerment and motivation into it. But what I was essentially doing was, we had that event because of the work that London Football Journeys did over the past 6 to 12 months. So over the past 6 months to a year. And I was explaining the work that they did and the ambassadors that were being created and the leaders that were being created. And the fact that two communities from completely different areas will come together and share common ground. That's one of the main mission statements. Areas, different communities and different areas come together and sharing common ground and, you know, engaging positively. So big shout out to London Football Journeys, a massive, massive charity organisation that's done a lot of work with young people. They're really known, they're really out there. And, you know, through mid to small scale organisations, they really contributed towards getting me exposed, getting people knowing me. So, you know, through that kind of got my name out there, like I said. And then, you know, people just wanted to just know who I am, and they just wanted to talk to me. It was just literally like, yo, like, I'm hearing your name. What is it that you do? Like, what is your vision? And I'm getting this at 14, and I'm not even in college. Do you know what I mean? I'm just graduating from secondary school. You feel me? So through that, then I said, all right, then cool. I'm going to step things up with the youth politics. I'm going to apply. So at that time, I don't know if they do, I think they do something similar, but it's more advanced now. But at that time, what you had to do was write a manifesto. Right. So
they still have that, I think.
Yeah, I think they still have it, but it's more advanced.
It's more like a shared.
Yeah, it's more shared.
Oh, yeah, no.
There's
they
more
do
screening.
have like a, yeah. Because I designed, when I was still working for Hackney, I designed the 2018 Hackney Youth Parliament kind of manifestos and stuff like that. So
did you?
They had their own separate ones, but yeah, some were like really like long, and then some were like really short and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. Yeah,
that's sick, man. But yeah, man, so I designed my manifesto, and I remember when I did it, I spent a week on it, and I did it with this guy called Jermaine Lazarus. He's within my community, he was one of the case study workers for young people aged 16 to 24. Very sick.
That's a name, fam.
Jermaine Lazarus. He's a shout out to him, man. He's gonna watch this. He's gonna be gassed. But shout out Jermaine Lazarus, very sick. Bro. Shout out, you know, I'm shouting out, so I might as well shout out. They might gonna watch this. Shout out Rowdy Patrick. Shout out David Ali. Shout out all these people. And no, you know what? Let me step back a bit, because I need to actually recognize people who've actually been an influence in my life. So these guys that I'm naming, David Ali, right, Rowdy Patrick, They are youth workers. And it goes back to what I'm saying, youth workers. These are youth workers who have noticed me and been working with me since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I was 8 when I was going to the youth club, right? My mum didn't want me to go because she didn't like the time I was getting back home. But I was going and I was at a place, a safe spot, regardless that it was late, but I was at a safe place. And I was working with these youth workers and they were taking me in and they were working with me and they'll take me on trips. They'll take me on these projects. They'll get me doing something productive. Shout out these people, David Ali, Rowdy Pratchett, especially, because these people understood the necessities of making sure we create a relationship with young people. They understood this. And I'm talking from early years of 2007, 8, 9. We're talking over a decade ago. They caught this. And they formulated this into something that was formidable. They formulated this into a direct tool to actually changing communities. And everybody that knows these people know the influence that they bring to your life. These youth workers are people who should be congratulated, who should be commended because they know the struggles. And not because not because there's like a straight away connection because of the fact that they're younger or anything, but put aside the fact that they're fathers, put that aside. But for the fact that they are in the community, they understand what young people are going through. They understand the struggles.
Cultural awareness,
they understand. They are aware to it and they understand it. And what all it's taking is the fact that they have actually gone out their way to study and be a part of a community, understanding the fact that these young people are exposed to gangs, drugs, violence, all these things that will put a young person in a negative light. They embraced it and they said,
negative pathway, and alternative pathways.
But they've embraced that and they said, well, look, we are not going to spit on these young people because these young people are created for greatness. They're created for prosperity. So what we are going to do,
shout out to them
is we're going to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because at that stage, I feel like there needs to be more emphasis and those types of people need to be celebrated because what's happening is because you're at that very early stage where you're easily influenced.
Of course.
And anything can happen and you can decide that you like doing this and then that suddenly leads to your whole life choice and a life path, you know what I'm saying? So I do want to shout out to those types of people because not everyone does access youth clubs. Like, for example, I didn't really go to youth clubs and stuff like that. So shout out to these people because the kind of exposure to these different kind of opportunities that young people get are really important. Workers, man. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, man. Shout out to these youth workers, man, because they took their time out, knowing that this could backlash and affect their lives, their personal lives. They integrated with the community. Do you know what I mean? They were black, or Rowdy was Jamaican. David had that, he had that the southern culture embedded into his life. These people understood and they had the connection with young people instantly, and not because of the fact that they have one special power or this and that. They just brought themselves down to our level, and that's it. Like, I could put this in many different fancy words, but let me just be real, because those that are listening need to understand this. They just brought themselves down to our level and said, yo, I feel you. Do you know what I mean? I feel you. Obviously, when I was younger, our struggles weren't the same, but there are connections. There are connections between my struggles and your struggles. I feel you. You know what I mean? I'm old enough to be your dad, but I feel you. And they brought themselves down to our level,
Yeah, which is what you need to do, man. Yeah.
And that's how they create that's how they create so many good relationships with young people. And you have young people, and we at that time we were in Pembury, which is Hackney, which is based in Hackney. Yeah. And we had young people coming from London Fields to come to this youth club. Amos Road, these are names of areas that I'm mentioning. You had people coming from outside the community to come and just come to the community because they brought that home family environment, that vibe, that, they brought it to the community. They brought it to the youth club. And they were great facilitators, fantastic facilitators. So they've known me since I was like 8, 9 years old. And through them as well, my mum having her role and they're having their role in my life. And it was crazy. So through that, got into youth parliament.
Yeah. Can we
let's go back to the story, man.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you know what I mean?
We're going to have to fast forward a bit just because we got some time. Like, we don't have that much time. And I wanted to cover a bit more things, but just fast forward.
My story is crazy, man.
I know.
My story,
But to your role now, what is your role now? Because I know, again, we've been talking about what you're doing now currently, and you talked a bit about your kind of being a kind of political leader in kind of wards, panel meetings and stuff within the area, within your constituency.
Which is
Hackney, talk about some of the stuff that you're doing currently.
So currently now, well, my workforce and what I work on is an ongoing mission, and you know, I never stop or start. I keep the momentum going. Anything that I start to do, I filter a lot of things into that. And like I said, my role is to expose the system, decode the system, and attach a beneficial outcome towards young people. And what I mean by that, if I break it down, is
exposing the system to young people.
As an outcome. Let it be an outcome. Young people can see that, okay, cool, we see this outcome and we want to latch onto that and we want to progress on with that.
Knowledge is power.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm doing is I'm decoding the system, and I'm exposing the system in a way where it can benefit young people and young people can understand. Another reason why I went into politics is to make it acceptable to the younger generation. Because at that time, like we said before, if you speak politics to a young person, they don't want to hear it. They're like, either they don't have any knowledge or they don't want to hear it. Do you know what I mean? They just don't want to hear it. It's not something that's popular. It's not a popular topic. Do you know what I mean? So
what's in it for them is what usually comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro.
And then even that's why I say knowledge is power, because within politics, even me, I know I have certain kind of views on politics or whatever, but I do kind of, again, to that level, understand that it does affect me.
Of course, yeah.
So what happens in these ward panel meetings? Just to quickly break down, because I doubt many people from the community even know what happens in these meetings. Because you particularly talked about policing and like the police and how they kind of, integrate in these meetings.
So the ward panel meetings are held every once in a while, one or 2 months. And, you know, these authorities, the higher authorities and those that are in power, look, they're at a time where they're vulnerable. And I say they're vulnerable because, you know, when the system doesn't present itself as something that could be viable for the younger generation, who are they going to look to when they need to deal with situations that involve the younger generation? How are they going? Who are they going to consult with? Are they going to consult with elderly people their age to kind of deal with something that they know they don't have a direct connection with? So in a nutshell, you know, you have the higher authorities and those that empower, you know, different boards who would call representatives such as myself to kind of speak on the behalf of young people. And at this current moment, I'm one of the spokespeople, because I know I've created leaders and there's many more to come. I am just one of a majority of spokespeople or spokespersons, or I'll call it, for young people. And I speak on the behalf of what the needs that young people need to kind of get, what their needs are in order for us to have this fabulous plan that you want to put out on the table. You need to understand that needs need to be met on both ends.
So what are some of those needs? I know it's probably quite difficult to come up with everything now.
I know there's many needs that need to be met, but if you're looking at it, right, I know we spoke about employment. Yeah. We spoke about just basic opportunities. Things need to be exposed. They need to be transparent. We know that one of the problems with the system and my way of working in terms of decoding and exposing the government is by learning and making them understand that transparency is very key. There's no way you can create a relationship with the community or various communities or young people within a community if your work is blindsided. They can't see what you're trying to do. Yes.
So what type of transparency do young people need from the government?
So we're talking about...
And need from politics for them to kind of... For everyone to benefit.
For everyone to benefit. Well, I mean, we're talking about... Right. So we're talking about laws that have been enforced in order to essentially, what the parliament will say or the system will say, laws that will essentially allow a young person to have growth and allow a young person's life to be changed dramatically in the fancy terms that the system will put it in. Well, my question is, okay, how do you go about strategizing this in a particular community? Well, let's just say Hackney, because I'm from there. Yeah. What have you filtered through into the local authorities for them to now, what action plan have you filtered through to the local authorities for them to now take upon and put into execution? and let's see the results of that. That's just mainstream line of work. Let's see the results. How do you go about doing it? And these are questions and these are things that I've hold local authorities to account. I've hold them to account for, because I want to know how your plans. Okay, let's talk about employment.
Yeah.
Right. You have an idea. You have a strategy of work in order to get young people into employment. Right. Over the past 6 months, how many young people have you got into employment? How many young people have gained employment? How many young people have actually come in, written up a successful CV? How many young people's CV has been successfully assessed, right, and accepted, right? And how many young people have actually been recommended into jobs? How many young people have actually been effectively advised before making that decision into going into a job? Like I was saying before, how many young people actually work within jobs that contribute towards their career path? Or how many young people are just working in the job because they can't do anything, and then they're not even in it for about a year, and they're just working at that job for about six to 8 months, and they drop out and they're back on their couch. So these are things that and I'm putting this in a nasty way. I can be very nice and formal about it, but I'm going to be real, because this is the BlackPrint.
This is a real format.
This is real. And I said, my purpose, and I've been spoken about the progression of this, and my purpose is we are putting out content that is raw and undiluted. We're not diluting nothing. Everything needs to hit those that need to hear it in the face, because these are problems that our society is going through right now, and we need to put a change to it.
I think people need to understand that these conversations are being had as well. Just speaking about the transparency, but for example, let me just quickly expose Hackney Council for I'm saying I'd
decode them, bro.
Just quickly, and I'm not doing this any malice, but it's just a bit mad, So, for example, to the viewers watching, to the viewers in Hackney,
of course, man.
Do you know that there's and particularly if you're black, do you know that there's a improving outcomes for young black men program? It's a 10-year program, and it's been running for about 4 to 5 years now. Do you know that this exists?
You know what I'm laughing,
my question.
Yeah? You know what I'm laughing?
That's my question.
Mercy, you know what I'm laughing, yeah? I'm laughing because this guy... Don't cut this out. This is funny. This guy, he's like me. When we have these meetings, we are peppering these people, you know? How are you... Okay.
We're serious about this shit, man. Yeah.
Bro, this is serious shit. There's an improving outcomes for young black men, and I guarantee you over 50% of the population of young people aged 12 to 24 do not know about it.
Oh, way higher than that. Way higher.
I'm being nice. I'm being nice. I'm definitely, and by 50%, I'm saying it's over average. Over average. Way over average. They do not know that there is a scheme of work in line for their development in the community. They don't know.
Which is crazy.
And then you want to go, I get upset to the media outlets who want to go out and say that Hackney's a prospering borough. Are you taking the piss? Hackney's a prospering borough.
Yeah.
Don't take the piss. Don't be throwing those articles out there. Don't be doing it for PR. Don't be doing it because of your job. Don't be doing that, because how many young people from Hackney have you consulted with? How much research have you put into that? Because media outlets, your work has to be held to account for. What authentic content have you actually...
What research have you put into for it to actually kind of verify if it's actually a kind of...
What have you done? Do you know what I mean, bro? Don't be putting that crap out there saying Hackney's a prospering borough. Bullshit. It's not a prospering borough. Because I know we can be prospering, but it's not a prospering borough at the moment, because young people within our borough are suffering. Yeah. And I'm talking about on a poverty scale. They are suffering, and it's crazy. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, everything that's going to come out my mouth in this interview is going to hit. I'm doing the hit smack in the face. I'm not going nice around the bushes. It's hit smack. KOs. Straight KOs. It's crazy because look, like you said, how many young people actually notice that this is working? We spoke about it in that interview, in that meeting, and we said that this has been a scheme of work that's been running for 5 years, and we consistently get turned down from the council because they know that they don't want to look bad. But then again, if you actually open it from an outer perspective and bird's eye view, it's not about looking bad. It's about partnership working, and we're actually creating. We are creating a bridge in order to allow our borough to be in a better place.
For sure.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Why would the council turn us down? We've brought to you a work plan that is successful, right? Our work plan versus your work plan. You say that, okay, this is something you've produced to get young people into employment, to get them into jobs, to get them doing something, to get them on their career path. Right?
How many numbers is that?
How many numbers is that compared to what we've done in the community?
And is that radical enough?
Is it radical enough?
Because that's my question. Because I don't want to I'm grateful that this program exists. It means that we connected. It means that maybe we would have connected anyway. Yeah. But that's how we connected. And there's been a lot of good that has come from it. But what we're saying is for young black men in Hackney to not know that this program exists unless you've been directly exposed to that information from a meeting or whatever it is, or youth club or whatever it is. Is that enough? Is that radical enough? Is that improving outcomes? Is that really improving? So that's what we're talking about. But I just quickly wanted to touch on that because that's the level of conversations that we're talking about, and that's the level of transparency that I was really conscious about using this platform and bringing to light. You know what I'm saying? So I know, we've been having loads of conversations. We wanted to get this interview out of the way because we want this kind of content to be a regular thing, and it will be a regular thing. And we will be doing bigger things or whatever. But we haven't got that much time left. We're about the 52-minute mark right now. So we've touched on a few things, but I guess I just want to touch on your recent column, your recent writing in the Voice newspaper,
wicked,
on Black History.
Should I read it up?
Yeah,
should I read
just
it?
Quickly before we.
It's really short though.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Shall I quickly give let me quickly give a
brief, some context,
brief
and then
description.
Read it out. Do what.
So, a newspaper agent through networks that I have contacted me, and he actually interviewed me before, and he said, yo, I know that you're on, and this is fair enough, this is my 5th feature in a newspaper.
What different newspapers?
Yeah, different.
Okay, cool.
I've been on the Financial Times, which was mind blowing, talking about youth crime and violence. I've been on Evening Standard. I've been on Hackney based newspaper articles.
Yeah,
and I've been on the City Times as well, which I have a collection of at home. But this is my 5th newspaper article, and he came to me and he said, look, I want to come something completely different, but because you're someone that is popular, someone that's recognized in the community, I want to have your view on it. And he spoke about, since we're going into Black History Month, what is your view on the fact that the system about a year ago, right, the Conservative Party, they put out a proposal to listen to this, right, because this is going to upset a lot of people. They put out a proposal saying that they want to change Black History Month and change it to Diversity Month.
Diversity.
Let that sink in for 1 minute. Yeah. They want to change Black History Month to Diversity Month, where we are not. They're taking away the focus of celebrating the Black culture and what is and the impact of the Black culture on this modern society and in the world. They want to take away the focus from that, and they want to start with basically the Asians, with the Eastern Europeans. And I'm sorry, we are not going to agree with that, number one, and we're not going to take that lightly. Because for me, first and foremost, shout out David Ali, because he said this to me one time: Black History Month shouldn't be something that should be celebrated in a month. It's something that should be celebrated each and every day, each and every single day. Each and every day.
It's a part of our history. It's a part of UK history.
Do you know what I mean?
The UK Empire.
It's a part of the UK history, the UK Empire back in the day. It's a part of the British colony.
Yeah.
It's a part of it. So, I was just mind blown by that statement. And I was, and they said, okay, well, you are a young politician and we want you to react to it so we can put it up, we can write it up, please. Yeah. And they said, be blunt, please, don't be nice. And I said, what that mean? I'm going to be blunt. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
So I wrote, let me just quickly read up what I wrote.
Go ahead, bro.
So, so obviously my name, Emmanuel Akin, Red Tete, my role is as a political leader and stuff like that. And I said, I'm not against celebrating other cultures and ethnicities, as I do know that they've contributed to this great world that we live in today. However, there has been a deserved right for the black race to have its time in the year to be celebrated. Right? Black History Month brings common ground knowledge of where we as the black race come from. Anything less than this would in effect silence black people or black centric infrastructures. Right? The study of Black History Month is something to be valued not only in schools or organizations, but in the world we live in today. And there's more, but I'm just gonna throw that out.
No, thank you.
Do you know what I mean?
Why? So when you got this kind of question and this ask, and when you were writing this, what was going through your head? What was the motivation?
I was frustrated. I was frustrated the fact that something like a proposal like that was even out there. It was even created. I was frustrated at first, but then, I calmed down. Just to be honest, I calmed down and I said, well, look, instead of, and I just see this as another mechanism tool that the system is trying to produce to silence the black community and in other forms, right, remove the value that we have. It's another tool.
Why do you think this is happening at this stage? Like, why do you think I'm not saying that I don't know if they've tried it before, but why do you think now in 2019,
why is it still happening
in this era right now? Why do you think like that has been proposed?
Because, like I said, I feel like, well, mate, is what the system is. They consistently try to cook up, is what they try to cook up in order to bring down, right, I would say the value of what the black people can bring to the nation is what they're trying to cook up. And a lot of people could call it, institutional racism. A lot of people can call it racism.
Unconscious bias.
Unconscious bias. Yeah. A lot of people can call it a lot of things. But like I said, it's just another form or another strategy that the government or strands of the government want to put out there in order to just bring down the importance and the role that we have to play in our community. Why do you have to change Black History? Why don't you just give another month to the other? You know what I mean?
Because that's what I will say. Because like, just to play devil's advocate really quickly, because what I guess in the mindset of, I'm not saying I agree with this at all, but in the mindset of like maybe whoever proposed that, actually I don't even want to speak on their mindset, but from someone that is looking from the outside in, I guess why people would want to do that is because they want to make everybody feel inclusive.
Listen to this.
They want to allow people, allow the focus to shift from black to everybody is diverse. Everybody should be celebrated.
And fair enough, right? And surprisingly, you just touched on one of the justification reasons that they actually presented. Yeah. They justified themselves by bringing this proposal. They justified themselves by saying that, well, we want every other culture to be celebrated. We want every other ethnicity to be celebrated. We want every other tribe to be celebrated, to be recognized. And I clearly stated, well, I'm not taking away the value that they've brought, because every community, every ethnicity, every culture has had its part to play in the world that we live in today.
Contribution should be celebrated.
And their contribution should be celebrated. But my problem is, why on the month where Black History Month is celebrated? Why? There's 11 other months in the year.
Well, you could have created a diversity month and then allow that to be.
Exactly. So why take, and this is what they're saying, they want to completely take Black History Month away. Something that has been recognized and celebrated for years. Chuck that in the bin and just put Diversity Month. That's my problem. My problem is not the fact that other. When
did this proposal come into place?
I think it was October 2018.
Okay.
So I was referencing an article a year ago that the Conservative Party wanted to produce. Well, they produced it, wanted to enforce. Do you know what I mean? And I think, I don't think it went far.
Okay, let me just quick question. So based upon that, what do you think about black people being conservative? Especially when you have Labour. Especially when you're Labour, but especially when you have people where people are kind of, I don't know, like putting forward their kind of open racism or open kind of
and I won't be surprised black people are behind it.
What's my view on that? What is your kind of take on that? What's your reaction to black people being conservative, yet these kind of openly what people would call racist acts are happening from the Conservative Party.
Bro, can I be so real with you, right? It's puppets. They are puppets. They are puppets. What was Barack Obama in the government in America? He was a puppet, a face of the government in order to make the other nations see that, oh, a black person's in power. Okay, maybe the world is actually making progression. Maybe there's no racism.
The reason why I asked that question is because, like, should every black person be Labour?
Should every black person be Labour? Well,
or like not conservative at least.
In the world that we live in today, you make your own decision. But just
I get that, but I'm saying because what we're saying is like, look, why would you when there are stuff like this happening? You know what I'm saying? So like I guess I'm trying to kind of get your perspective on
perspective, if you want my honest perspective, because you need to understand that we live in a corrupt system, bro. Anyone will do anything for money. Anyone will do anything for money. Do you get it, Mercy? Do you understand? So my question is, all right, if you want my honest view and opinion, I see it as they were handed a check that they couldn't be turned away.
But you're talking about black people that are within the Conservative Party.
And I'm talking about black people that within the...
But what about just black people that support the Conservatives?
However, there's two parts to play, because maybe they have their... You know, I've had some interesting conversations with a lot of black people who have conservative mindsets, and their conservative mindsets have been opposed by a lot of things that I do. I speak to hundreds of politicians, so they tell me, and I hit them back. As they hit me, I hit them back. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking about in forms of our discussion, and I let them understand this is the reason and the purpose behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. And to a certain extent, funny enough, I had a meeting with her name is what's her name? She's a conservative party member. Her name is Susan Hall. I think her name is Susan Hall. Right, really, really top Conservative Party member, and she was speaking on the policing in the community, right, and why black people, because we touched on it, why black people. And I'm just kind of bringing this in because there's a tread line in what I'm trying to run on here, and she actually, not all Conservative members are polluted. You know, there are some who have that form of understanding,
but don't agree on the more kind of extreme kind of stuff. Some
agree. Some agree. They understand why we move the way we move, and they understand certain things, certain issues and barriers that affect a black person's decision or a black person's involvement in gangs. Do you know what I mean? Some of them do understand. And she said to me, I think her name is Susan Hall. I need to kind of remember. I can't remember. But she said to me that...
A bit of research quickly.
I'll show you. It's on my phone somewhere. But she said to me that I understand to an extent, because I'm not black, right? I understand to an extent why young people have been portrayed and they've been acknowledged in such a negative light. I understand that.
Yeah, Susan Hall.
Susan Hall?
Yeah.
Oh, bang on, mate. I got good memory. But I understand that young people have been portrayed in this negative light, and at this current moment she's trying to build bridges through a different avenue, through the policing and crime, in order to get young people to understand that there are people in the Conservative Party who actually want to make good of the community. And that's her form of doing things, and I commend her.
But how is she doing that?
But and that's the question. I didn't get to her saying that, but it was a short conversation. Well, it was about a 45-minute conversation, which is not short. But you know, she was explaining her efforts and what she's prepared to do. Right, you gotta have a lot of people within her party that disagree with her, and I'm talking about extremists who disagree with her
for sure.
But then again, it does tell you that, and she's white, upper class, you know. Upper class white individual. So that will tell you that we are living in a funny system here, because then again, I haven't really had a conversation.
That's just compassion, though. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just don't have compassion. I think that's
what I'm saying. So if you really want to know why black people in the Conservative Party are in there and why they oppose certain actions that we've kind of put across, it could be a whole scale of things. I can't put a pin on the head of what it is. But, you know, some are in it for the money. Some have their own personal reasons towards it.
Some have conservative mindsets, but don't maybe agree with the more kind of extreme stuff.
But the thing is,
but then some people do as well.
But the thing is, the question is, how do those that have conservative mindsets, how do they fit in with the conservative plan? Because they're black at the end of the day.
That's what I'm trying.
They're black, aren't they? They're black at the end of the day.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, but again,
how do they fit in?
But my question with that was really is like, by default, being black, like if you were to choose, because it pretty much is, like your default kind of political party is the Labour Party, and I think that's because obviously a lot of the efforts of the Labour Party are for the working class, they're for the people that are
the community,
that are not like
a lot of community work.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Mothers
get it
as well.
I get it, but it's just that was my question. I just wanted to explore that dynamic really quickly.
That's basically
how much time have we got left? Have got some time? Yeah. Okay. All right. We good. All right. Nice. Okay. Barry's doing good today. We saying, like, did you touch on everything that you wanted to touch on that? Because I wanted to move on to maybe just, you know what I'm saying, a bit of cultural relevancy. You know what I'm saying, a bit of Top Boy, a bit of Top Boy.
That being the last topic. Let's run that.
Yeah. Okay. So have you seen Top Boy?
Yes.
Why'd you hesitate? Did you
bro?
Did you take
if
a while
I told
to
you what I had to go through,
okay.
I had my Netflix account. I was in season I was season 3, episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then my Netflix account bugged out.
Okay. Peak.
And I was so tense. Yo, I'm home now. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I want some Top Boy.
Yeah.
Then my Netflix account wasn't working for like 2 days. Bro, it was crazy. And you know when you're watching it consistently and you don't want to, there's a momentum. I
literally binge watch that, bro.
Bro, it's a momentum. And for you to have that gap, it's like, I think I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. It's a lot. 48 hours is a long time, you know. So I got to work again. Something happened. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, so you've seen it.
So I've seen it. Yeah,
all right.
I've seen it.
As someone that is from Hackney, as someone that's involved as the community as much as you are, let me just quickly ask you this question: What do you think about this season? This new season. I know we call it season 3, but it's actually a new season.
Yeah, of course.
So this new season compared to the previous seasons.
Ooh,
let's start with that. I am going to ask you like what you think about in general, but like, what did you think about it? Like, did you watch the previous 2?
Of course, yeah,
of course. All right. So like, what did you think about this new season as compared to the last season?
I think they made a good change. They filtered in a lot of good fresh faces. I think they should have kept some old. I mean, they kept some old faces, but they should have cut. I was expecting 1 or 2 people to still be there, but I mean, it's all right. I mean, you know what I mean? It's 5 years later, so yeah. But it was good. It being compared to the old seasons. Yes, I understand the timeline of actions of events. I understand, and it was really good the fact that they actually made everything in a more, you know, okay, this is what happened when Deshane was when he was running Summer House back in 2010, and then now in 2019 he got shipped to Jamaica, and then you see what happens. When he goes to Jamaica, and then his cousin Donovan, you know what I mean, he's with his cousin Donovan and his auntie Bernadette, or this, that, the other. You know what I mean? And it was good to kind of see that transformation. So there are a lot of relative links that make sense.
Yeah, for sure. They produced it quite well.
Like, it was really good. It was really, really
and
good.
written quite well as well.
It was really good. A lot of relative links that makes sense. Yeah, watching the movie, it makes sense. But you need to watch it from the first. It makes sense.
Yeah. I think they kind of like with this newest season. I think what they've done particularly well.
Yeah, Moldy. Shout out Moldy.
Yeah. A lot of people are kind of a bit.
I hope your eyes better.
A lot, like I've heard some kind of controversial opinions about Moldy. Some people didn't really like his performance and stuff, or like Dave's performance of Moldy. But anyway, I just quickly wanted to say before we get into that, that this season. Okay, just quickly, because we're running out of time. Like this season was a lot more transparent and more honest and reflective about some of the real hardships and real kind of struggles that people go through today, and how that influences certain decisions that they make in their life, certain pivotal decisions that they make in their life. And I thought that was really important because it didn't glorify anything. Me personally, I'm not, some people may have this opinion, but not once did I think anything was glorified. I really don't. Like, I think it was an honest and real reflection of what happens.
Of course.
And I really did respect that, because you didn't go away with a sense of, well, me, I can't speak to the mind of a younger person, but I didn't come away with the sense of that, oh shit, I really regret not getting into gang life or like getting involved in like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like for me, it seemed like, okay.
The dirty side was shown.
Yeah. And like the real
struggles, the poverty
even
was
like
shown.
From the people that were in those lives themselves, they kind of knew it was, so for example, like Michael Ward's character. What was his character's name? I forget. I forget, but he's
Jamie, yeah.
So that kind of story about him being the oldest of three
brothers, yeah. Stefan.
You know what I'm saying?
Aaron.
And like your parents, both of your parents died, so you gotta look after your brothers now. Like that's some real like shit, and that's some real kind of
course, man,
life decisions that. Well, that's a real kind of what's the word? That's a real kind of urgency to try and get some shit sorted and not let your kind of family totally disband, especially 100. When like stuff like that. And obviously acts his mother and what situation they were in with it, like immigration and deportation, and what Acts did as a really good kid. Well, I don't want to distinguish anything, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Trying to sell it, like he did everything under the sun.
Listen,
and then he actually realized, this is how I make money. This is where I can actually make money. This is where I can get the support, maybe not the support, but like the financial support that I need to like. No, really
it's a mindset, bro. It's a mindset. He saw that his mum was struggling, and you know, you see, what's so important is that you could see as you watched the series, his mum didn't want to make it known to him, not directly.
Yeah.
But he's such a clued on kid that he sussed it out.
Oh yeah, like for sure. You know at that.
Do you know what I mean?
Right?
He sussed it out. He saw when the immigration police came to his door.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was listening into the conversations about deportation. Does she have a valid passport? Does this, that, the other?
You know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he heard and he was clued in, and he was like, well, I mean, you know, and we missed a bit when she first got released from her job.
Yeah, that was nice.
Her job, when her employment status was terminated and no money was coming in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what was his first line of thought and action? Well, my mom's not working. There's no money coming in. Let me sell burgers. Let me make some money.
That was like real shit right there, man. That's some real shit right there. All right.
Shout out Top Boy though, man.
Shout out Top Boy.
Because they got...
I wish we had some more time.
I know. Quick shout out to Top Boy and the producers.
Yeah, for sure.
My guys are involved. Stefan, I coach him.
Oh, really?
I coach him.
Nice.
He's a footballer.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. He's not only a good actor, he's a footballer. I coach him. Shout out Crown Pro Elite. Shout out Paul Lajajari, my uncle. Shout out Josh, who I don't know what the name of his character is in the thing. I don't think it's not mentioned enough, but Josh is the guy who wears the black jacket, who rolls around in that gang and has the earring. And shout out Josh Blissett, sick actor, doing big things. So shout them out, man. Shout out this season. Shout out Drake making this work. Big shout out to Drake.
Yeah, shout out to Drake for making this work. I saw a lot of people saying that, like hating on him and culture vulture shit. Like, come on, stop that.
Bro, come on, man. I don't like, bro. Come on, man.
Stop that. Just stop that.
Without Drake, bro.
I don't think anyone with an actual kind of real understanding of, like, you know what I'm saying.
Shout out Drake, man.
Anything really would kind of suggest that.
You know what's so funny though? You know what actually powered this season of Top Boy?
What's that?
Money. Because what did Drake actually bring to the table?
Money. Well, what do you mean?
In order to get this working,
it wasn't just the money, because I'm sure they had the actually.
Wait, hold on. I don't understand.
Funding in it,
yeah, bro. Because Drake is what? He's executive director.
Yeah.
So what did Drake bring to the table?
Producer.
And someone from America, someone that doesn't know shit about the UK, he hasn't grown, he hasn't lived in the ends, he doesn't know what going on.
But he was, I don't know how true this is, but he was saying that he's quite close. He had the insight from like Canadian life and stuff like that. And there's a lot of parallels that you can draw between London and kind of Toronto and stuff like that.
Okay. I get that. But in terms of the scale of majority, mate.
Yeah.
But shout him out though, because But didn't they make enough money from the first 2 seasons to actually power a third one? Anyway,
well, that's what I think it was tied. Yeah, like just quickly, I think it was tied into something a bit deeper than just money. I think it was politics. I don't think many executive. I don't think many
they supported it.
Kind of white, kind of powerful people enjoyed that there was this show on national television. And that's probably why they went to Netflix, because they kind of avoid all of that political shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they wanted Top Boy on
Channel 4.
No, they didn't want
BBC
that.
or
I really don't think so. That's why it was probably cut. But just to end really quickly, bro, like, is there anything else? Like, we're gonna chop it up anyway, but just on a kind of on what you do and what, you know what I'm saying, what you want to plug people into and what you want people to pay attention to. Yeah. Quickly, bro. Plug it. Yeah. Do your thing.
Yeah, man. Just, follow the grind of what I'm on. I'm working.
Where can people find you and everything?
So yeah, just follow the grind that I'm on. You can find me on Instagram, Emmanuel Akin _, Twitter, Emmanuel Akin _. I'm on Snapchat as well, Emmanuel _AK1. That's Emmanuel with 2 M's. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Emmanuel Akin. I'm on everything. Just follow the grind. I'm on Facebook as well, Emmanuel Akin. So follow the grind. I'm definitely, I'm not, like I said, it's not about me. I'm on a course, I'm on a journey where I'm empowering, and I've created a lot of leaders. So we are making we're making a formidable alliance that cannot be destroyed. And we are revolutionizing this generation. If you want to ask me, this goes back to the beginning. If you want to ask me what role am I playing, I'm a revolutionary light of progression for my generation. You know what I'm trying to say?
I like that.
I'm a revolutionary light of progression for my generation.
Where'd you come up with that bro? Where did that come from, bro?
You know what I mean? Shout out, you know what I mean? But the person knows, but I'm a revolutionary light of progression to my generation. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making every sort of means possible to get young people, the younger generation, the present generation, into a better light, so that we can rock this world. Yeah, that's it. And it is possible. It's not going to be easy, but it is possible. But thank you so much for having me today.
All good. We're going to sit down and do this more. But I will quickly just say that me and Emmanuel are going to be doing a lot more of this. Again, just relating back to like what I said about doing it on a bigger scale. Yeah. We want to so for anybody listening, if you want to connect with us and you want to kind of join in this conversation and discussion, please get in touch.
Get in touch, man.
BlackPrint Podcast. You can get out my...
Shout out BlackPrint. Me and Thaddaeus are going to be well, posting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we want to do community podcasts. We want to have an audience. We want to do panel discussions.
It's going to be mad.
We want to do a lot.
It's going to be mad.
We want to have discussions. We want to open up the dialogue. We want to do a lot.
It's going to be mad.
We hope anybody listening, if you're from Hackney surrounding areas, get in touch, man. Show your support.
It's got to be mad. It's got to be mad. We're going to do a lot of stuff. We're going to definitely build bridges, man.
For sure.
And fill in some gaps and filtering a lot of people in. So it's going to be big, man. I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, honestly, bro.
I can't wait for the work that we're going to produce in the future. It's going to be crazy, man.
Indeed,
Thank you, man.
My guy. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right.